Okay, we're ready. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's City Council workshop portion of our meeting. Our regular council meeting will begin at 10 a.m. And at the 10 a.m. meeting, we do have two public hearings that we will do before our regular agenda items. The workshop is a time for council to discuss any agenda items that we need more time to talk about with staff before the meeting begins. And we also try to have some executive session items. So I will open it up to council at this time and ask if there are any agenda items that they wish to discuss before the meeting. All right, there being none, I will ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss negotiations concerning contractual arrangements involving the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. We will invite Bill Musser, Fox Simons, Will Bryan, Brian Tucker, Josh Bruger, Michelle Schumpert, Marla Bell, Meredith Denary, and Amy Newshafer. May I please have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Dr. Connor, second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And we will go into the side room. Motion from council to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Dr. Connor, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Our meeting will begin in 2 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We have a very full house this morning. We welcome you. We thank you for being here. I think we know why you're all here, and it is very much appreciated. We would ask if you would please silence your cell phones. And as a matter of order, since we do have so many people here, and we know there are a lot of emotions surrounding today's 2 agenda items related to the Pelicans, I would ask you to please be civil and respectful. There will not be any shouting out. There will not be any clapping. There will not be any booing. Can we all agree to do that? Thank you. I would ask, if you wish, you may please rise and join council. Fox, do we need to do the invocation before the public hearing? No,
We do now.
Let's just do it. Let's pray before
I
the
think
public
we need
hearing.
it. All right, join us, please. Almighty God, creator and sustainer of all that is or ever will be, accept our profound gratitude for this day and all of its blessings of life and freedom. We remember those who make our freedom possible and recognize it is because of their sacrifice that our community can practice our shared and enduring values of varied expressions of faith, civic duty, and respect for all. We gather today to render our public service in a proper manner and perform our civic duties in good order. Therefore, we solemnly invoke divine wisdom and guidance in this day's meeting. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we do have 2 public hearings this morning. The first public hearing is on the municipal budget for the 2025-26 fiscal year. Michelle Schumpert, our Chief Financial Officer, will walk us through this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Code section 6-1-80 requires that notice of a public hearing on the city's operating budget must be published in at least one newspaper of general circulation in the area, not less than 15 days in advance of the public hearing, with a minimum of 2 columns wide and a bold headline, including the context as described in 6-1-80. The city published this required notice in the Myrtle Beach Herald on Friday, May 9th, 2025. The content of the public notice, the public hearing notice, typically outlines the operating budget for the city and the millage. This year, we are not increasing our millage. It will stay at the 83.4. According to the state law regarding property tax, we were allowed to increase our millage by 28.08% or 21.7 mils based on the fact that there was a 2.95% increase in CPU and a 1.9% in population. This council has chosen not to do that at this time. The overall operating budget for the city is $368.9 million, and the operating tax revenue for the city is $57.5 million.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak during the public hearing related to the budget? Okay, there being none, the public hearing is closed. We will now open the public hearing on the proposed ordinances number 2025-39 through 2025-41, golf cart and moped rental conveyance.
Do you want me to explain? Sure. I'll just explain for the public what the purpose of this is. City Council has a franchise agreement for rental of golf carts and mopeds, and there is one vendor, proprietor, I guess, that is selling his business to another entity. And per our franchise agreement, when that happens, there has to be a public hearing, and City Council has to vote on it. That's why there are those 3 agenda items on the agenda, on the consent agenda. And that's what this public hearing is addressing, is checking that box.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak about the public hearing related to the golf cart franchises? There being none, the public hearing is closed. I'll now ask council for an approval of today's agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda while moving ordinance 2025-36 to after motion 2024-42, so that the Pelicans items will be first and the budget will be last.
Second motion.
Motion made from Mr. Smith, second from Mr. Chestnut.
No, yeah, I moved the budget,
Okay.
so the
Oh,
Pelicans will be first.
okay.
Okay, any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 6th, 2025?
Approved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Chestnut, second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. I need a motion for the approval of our meeting minutes from May 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. McClure, second from Dr. Connor. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. We have some presentations this morning and proclamations, and the first one is very, very special for obvious reasons, because we love our first responders in the city of Myrtle Beach. And this is recognizing our Myrtle Beach Fire Department Firefighter of the Year, Sean Court, and Myrtle Beach Police Department Officer of the Year, Saquon LaFontaine. So if you all would come forward, please. You have all of these people who have shown up in support of you today.
guess somebody has to go first, huh?
You're up, Chief.
Good morning, Council. It is my honor and privilege to introduce the 2025 Chicora Rotary Club Firefighter of the Year, Master Firefighter Sean Court. Sean's been with us for about 5 years, and in that time, he's really distinguished himself as a high performer. He's constantly involved in everything the organization has to offer, but more than that, he's involved in the community. He does a lot of charitable events, and actually this past year, he oversaw our Rhonda Brown Memorial Golf Tournament where we raise money for cancer. And this year we did it at Myrtle, and we blew those donations out of the water because of the efforts of Sean. He comes to work every day with a great attitude. He has a lot of tangible things that he does, but honestly, the more important side of him are the intangible qualities that he offers. He buys into the city's first in service mantra. He buys into the fire department's core values, and I'm truly honored to be able to serve with someone as amazing as Sean.
Speech.
You don't have to say anything.
Well, I'm excited to be here today as well. It's a wonderful time to celebrate our team as well as Saquon LaFontaine, who was the selection for our 2024 Myrtle Beach Rotary PFC Joe McGarry Officer of the Year. He was selected for many different reasons, but if anybody has had the opportunity to see his smile, to see his dedication in the community, but also what he does every day, which is comes to work, gets out of his car, and focuses on our community. Saquon is somebody that enjoys his job, has done that for over 4 years now, and focuses on making sure that every day is a day that he takes action. And what that means to him is being able to make a difference in our community. He's been a part of making change in our parks throughout the Booker T. Washington community, but also, in addition to that, is making a difference in our programming, which is whether it's Cops and Bobbers, whether it's Shop with a Hero, whatever we have going on, Saquon wants to be a part of it. And he is somebody that knows that putting on the badge means representing our city, representing our community, and also representing himself and his family. And he will tell you that. He is somebody that cares, and he wants to make a difference in our community. So he not only does that by enforcing our laws, but also making sure that people understand that this uniform, this badge makes a difference in our community every day. So it is my pleasure to introduce Saquon LaFontaine.
Thank you, everybody, so much. I want to start by saying it's very humbling, and I thank God for each and every one of you standing here. I love this department. I love the city, and you know, even with this recognition, it doesn't stop. This just pushes me to, you know, be more than what I'm doing now, do more than what I'm doing now, and be more than what I am now. And again, I'm just extremely humbled and thankful for where I am today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Meredith, I'm going to ask, before you read this proclamation, I would like for Councilman Smith to talk a little bit about someone who is here today for a special reason who will accept this proclamation for May for being Mental Health Awareness Month.
Sure. Johnny McCoy is here. Come on up, Johnny. I'm sure there will be more clapping after he is finished speaking. I've known Johnny probably 30 years, and I thought about what I would say about him last night. And I thought of a bunch of funny things, but he is so quick-witted that he would just demolish me from the things that he knows. So he has been a tireless community advocate, working for those that didn't have the means or the help or the connections. He's truly made a difference in this community and across the country, and he's going to talk later about White Flag, which he is the CEO of, that is making a difference around the world. And I thank him for being here, and just am proud of everything that he's done.
Thank you, Greg. Meredith, will you present the proclamation, and then we'll ask Johnny to talk to us about White Flag.
All right, Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2025. Whereas good mental health is essential to everyone's physical health and well-being, and whereas mental illness can affect anyone of any age, race, religion, or socioeconomic status, and individuals with mental illness, both diagnosed and undiagnosed, very well may be our friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers. And whereas stigma and misunderstanding surrounding mental illness often prevent individuals from seeking help, yet early intervention and community support are key to positive outcomes. And whereas research suggests that eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, and connecting with family and friends can help to better handle challenges effectively and reduce the burden of adverse mental health conditions. And whereas recovery is possible, and every citizen, business, school, government, and organization shares responsibility for treating or preventing mental health issues. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Myrtle Beach hereby designates May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month and urges our community to increase its awareness and understanding of mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible mental health services for all. Signed and sealed this 27th day of May, 2025.
Thank you.
Wow. Greg, I appreciate that. Councilman Smith, as we all know him now, I thank you very much for reading and presenting this to me. My name is Johnny McCoy, and I'm the CEO and founder of the White Flag app. I'll talk about that in a second, but first I want to say thank you to you all. Not many people know this, but I moved to Denver a few years ago. I left my law firm, I left my friends, I left my high school community that I grew up with. Because I was seeking mental health help. This was after a suicide. I can't talk to y'all, but this was after a suicide attempt and a quick withdrawal from benzodiazepines that I was placed on following witnessing a suicide while I was unlawfully arrested in jail. Not in Myrtle Beach jail. But I realized something when I was in Denver. I was getting treated there on some of the new cutting edge and state-of-the-art stuff for your mental health, but it wasn't enough. And we talk about here about balanced diet and running and sleep and all that good stuff, but I realized what I really needed was a community. And my community is here. My friends are here, my family's here, the people behind me, they know, you guys, even though some of y'all don't know me, you do know me. This is the community that took me in while my mother was in rehab. This was the community that took me in while my father was virtually absent. And this is the community that we launched White Flag out of. And the day that we launched White Flag out of the HTC Aspire Hub here, Mayor Bethune showed up. And she helped us have a ribbon cutting. Of course, Greg was there. Greg's always there for whatever I'm involved in.
Councilman Smith.
Councilman Smith. You see that? All right, okay.
Johnny, you can call me Brenda.
Yes, ma'am. I think I called. Councilman Chestnut came to one of our events. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for being there. Councilman Crutch was there as well. You know, the what of what White Flag is just, it's really just a virtual place for you to feel comfortable enough to open up and talk about the things that you don't feel comfortable talking about to other people. Now, Robin Williams, for those of y'all who don't know, we were on Good Morning America last week. White Flag was. I'll talk about that in a second. But part of the discussion I had was, you know, Robin Williams had thousands of people around him. And Anthony Bourdain, Naomi Judd, who's your favorite? Twitch from Ellen. They all had thousands and thousands of people around them going, oh, you could just talk to me. And they wondered, why didn't he just talk to me? Well, I told him I was here. It's because people who are really struggling in a dark place, they believe that if they told you what was on their mind, that you would never talk to them again. That you would call the wonderful police in the back of this courtroom and say, hey, listen, this guy's going to do something to himself. And that's what happened to me. I spent 13 years dying from benzodiazepine abuse and horrible PTSD before I attempted to take my life with a bottle. And when I got into treatment, they paired us with people who had gone through the same thing. It was the first time in my life I'd ever met somebody else who had the same nightmares that I did, who experienced the same childhood trauma that I did, and who was coming off of benzos the way that I was. And I spent a lot of money in this treatment facility, and the number one thing that worked for me was talking to the other people that were there. I spent an hour a week. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent on this facility, but I spent an hour a week talking to a therapist, and I talked to my psychiatrist twice in 30 days, and I was healed by the people around me and within that community. And so what White Flag does, it just allows you to find these folks virtually. If you download our app today in the Apple App Store or on Google Play, you're instantly and anonymously connected with somebody else who's going through the same mental health, background, life challenges as you are. And then you can have an anonymous, safe, free conversation with that person where you can either give them support or you can receive support from them. And that's important because you don't have to come on there in crisis or come on there thinking, hey, you know, I don't want somebody to help me. I don't need help. That's for the veterans that we have on there. They come on there to help other people, and then they're being helped by the time that they open up to other folks. To date, we have 200,000, or nearly 200,000 people who've downloaded the app. We've had over 2.5 million messages exchanged. Last year, for some reason, people keep giving me awards. It's the app, though. Last year, White Flag received the National First Responder Advocate of the Year award. We went down to Florida and received that. We have thousands of first responders on the app. By the way, there were 4 first responders right here. Guess how many first responders the ratio is to somebody who's struggling with PTSD? Anybody know? 1 in 3. So which one of those 3 was thinking about suicide? 1 out of 5 of y'all, it's more closer to 1 out of 4. 1 out of 5 of y'all who are in this audience right now is dealing with an extreme mental health issue. But it's not just you. When you're struggling, it's actually your family who deals with it as well. So it's 100% of y'all. It's 100% of y'all have either yourself or somebody you know or somebody in your house or somebody you love and somebody you care about is struggling and dealing with mental health issues. White Flag is just a small part of your recovery. But today, when a city like the city of Myrtle Beach, in an area of the country, well, the whole entire country has been dark to mental health issues for years, afraid to talk about them and ashamed to put somebody in front of a big group like this who openly admits, I'm on antipsychotics and I'm a great person. It's not a big deal. Tell your kids. Long story short, the city of Myrtle Beach recognizing White Flag, recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month, recognizing that this is important is a huge step. And White Flag is honored that our headquarters is located less than a mile from here. And we're just beginning Not only do we have nearly 200,000 people on the app and receive these awards, but 2 weeks ago we were on Good Morning America. 4 million people watched as we talked about White Flag with celebrities and other high-profile mental health advocates. We were on ABC News Live on last Friday, and we continue to grow and we continue to blossom. And what this means for this community is that one of the biggest mental health apps and one of the largest social networks in the world is right here in your backyard. Thank you for the support. We love y'all. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, our next proclamation is declaring June 6th as National Gun Awareness Day.
Yes, another important one, and I have Marcel Ross with Moms Demand Action. I keep wanting to say against. Moms Demand Action standing here with me today. So June 6th, 2025, National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas more than 125 Americans are killed daily by gun violence, with more than 200 others being shot and wounded each day, leaving lasting impacts on communities. And whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. And whereas firearms are the leading cause of death for American children and teenagers, with more than 2,800 children and teens dying by gun homicide every year. And whereas National Gun Violence Awareness Day honors the memory of Hadia Pendleton, tragically killed in Chicago, January 2013 at age 15, and whose classmates chose the color orange to symbolize the value of human life. And whereas honoring survivors and building community with those who are working to end gun violence happens by wearing orange June 6th through 8th, 2025. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Myrtle Beach City Council hereby designates June 6th, 2025 as National Gun Violence Awareness Day and urges citizens to speak with their children and others about gun violence and take the safety precautions and steps necessary to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence in our communities. Signed and sealed this 27th day of May, 2025.
I'd like to thank Mayor Bethune and the City Council in behalf of gun violence survivors in our community. We are Horry County volunteers and members of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. And we do thank you for this proclamation declaring Friday, June 6th, National Gun Violence Awareness Day. We also thank the city, and thanks to Councilman Smith. I think it was about 4 years ago, we talked with you at an event here in Myrtle Beach, and you connected us up with the Myrtle Beach City Police. And our Be Smart team has been able to reach many of our local residents with the message about the importance of secure storage of firearms in their homes and in vehicles, so children and teens do not have unauthorized access to guns, which often can lead to tragedies. And also, in vehicles, guns are often stolen in unsecured vehicles, and which end up leading to crime. So we so much appreciate your support and partnership these last 4 years in spreading the Be Smart message. And we just invite all to wear orange on June 6th through June 8th to honor those gun violence survivors, to remember those whose lives were taken by gun violence, and just to commit to work together to make our communities safer from gun violence. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you for your work. Before we move on to communications and creative services update, we have someone here that I would like to introduce to the community. We have our new Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce CEO and President, Mr. Matt Pavarnik. Matt, would you stand up so everyone can see who you are and see you out in the community? Thank you for being here today. And welcome to Myrtle Beach. And now we will have our communications and creative services update.
Hey City Council, Erin Bowling here with your communications update. Here in Myrtle Beach, it's officially summer. The city honored military members with the annual Military Appreciation Days Parade and Picnic in the Market Common over the weekend. On Memorial Day, community members walked along Ocean Boulevard for the Jack Platt Veterans March and stayed for the Battlefield Cross ceremony at Plyler Park. The day finished with Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony at the Convention Center. Thank you to Air Force veterans Buddy Stiers for serving as the parade's Grand Marshal and the ceremony's featured speaker. Last week was National EMS Week. We wanted to extend a big thank you to all our EMS workers who serve the community. We are so grateful for your hard work. The fire department's ocean rescue teams have spent the last few weeks training in the ocean and intercoastal waterway. Training included peer rescue training, jet ski training, and more. The police department celebrated promotions for 11 team members and honored 2 officers with a life-saving award. Job well done to all of you. Congratulations to the police department's PFC Saquon LaFontaine for winning the Rotary Club of Myrtle Beach Officer of the Year award. The other 5 nominees were Corporal Kurt Skulak, PFC Stephanie James, PFC Lucy Snell, PFC Nicholas Bernhardy, and PFC Liam Riffle. Warburg Park now has bathrooms. They should be ready for the public to use later this week. They're located at the new parking lot. Mosquito spraying began May 19th across the city. Public Works crews have sprayed every weekday beginning at 4:30. Help keep Myrtle Beach beautiful by participating in the Great American Cleanup tomorrow morning from 8 to 10. The citywide cleanup begins at the 2nd Avenue Pier. Cleaning supplies are provided. Also tomorrow, weekly fireworks at the 2nd Avenue Pier begin. Don't miss the show Wednesdays beginning at 9 at night. And finally, you'll have to see this one to believe it. A disc golfer says while playing at Splinter City Disc Golf Course, 2 crows chased an osprey into a tree, causing it to drop this young bonnethead shark. You never know what you're gonna see in Myrtle Beach. That's all for now. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, thank you. Now we have our non-agenda items from the public, and I understand that many of you signed up. However, I think many of you signed up who are here to speak on behalf of the Pelicans. So what I need to ask, if anyone signed up for any non-agenda items, so not Pelicans related. Okay, so there being none, we will wait until we get to that agenda item, and we will move on to our consent agenda, please.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. For this morning's consent agenda item, you have 7 items for your consideration. The first is second reading of ordinance 2025-35 to annex approximately 1.01 acres on the corner of Jen Drive, PIN number 420-1204-0002, and to rezone the property from Horry County OPI to Myrtle Beach MP. This would do a donut hole off of over there, off of Jen Drive. The next 3 are together. This is the subject of the public hearing. The first reading is ordinance 2025-39, granting a franchise agreement for operation of rental business of conveyances regulated by Chapter 12, Article 5 of the Code of Ordinances of Myrtle Beach to Brittany B. Lee, doing business as Beach Golf Cart Rentals and Sales, LLC, located at 609 South Kings Highway, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29577, for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 95 golf cart decals and 20 moped decals. Next one is first reading of ordinance 2025-40, granting a franchise agreement for operation of rental business of conveyance regulated by Chapter 12, Article 5 of the Code of Ordinances of Myrtle Beach to Brittany B. Lee, doing business as Beach Golf Cart Rentals and Sales, LLC, located at 412 6th Avenue North, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29577, for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 34 golf cart decals and 5 moped decals. Next one is first reading of ordinance 2025-41, granting a franchise agreement of operation of rental business and conveyance regulated by Chapter 12, Article 5 of the Code of Ordinances of Myrtle Beach to Brittany B. Lee, doing business as Beach Golf Cart Rentals and Sales LLC, located 713 North Ocean Boulevard, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29577, for a period of 1 year. The agreement includes 30 golf cart decals and 5 moped decals. There are no LSVs in those 3 locations. The next item for your consideration is motion 2025-38, authorizing the city to accept a grant award of $50,000 from PD Healthcare Coalition for the purpose of purchasing up to 10 marine rescue platforms, which I think we might have seen in the video we just saw. There is no match required. These are rapid inflatable platforms certified to securely hold and provide flotation for 10 individuals. The next item is motion 2025-39 to accept a grant award of $9,800 from the PD Healthcare Coalition for the purpose of purchasing an entomology training tablet program. There is no match required. This is a realistic and advanced simulation training device that digitally enhances and shows each layer of the human body. And the final item for your consideration is motion 2025-40, authorizing the city manager as designee to accept a grant award of $45,000 from the PD Healthcare Coalition for the purpose of purchasing infant pediatric simulation mannequins. There is no match required for that item.
All right, thank you. May I please have a motion to approve today's consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made from Dr. Connor, second from Mr. McClure. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Moving on to our regular agenda, which we have amended. Motion 2025-41.
No,
No,
2025-37.
I'm sorry. I was going all the way to the end. Wanted you all to have to sit here a little bit longer. First reading of ordinance 2025-37.
First reading of ordinance 2025-37, authorizing the city manager to negotiate the terms of the acquisition of Horry County's interest in the land and improvements constituting the Myrtle Beach Pelicans Stadium and matters related thereto.
Yes, ma'am. If this is an item that transpired from last week's county council meeting, where county council passed an ordinance to transfer their 30% ownership of Pelican Stadium over to the city of Myrtle Beach. For that action to consummate, the city will have to accept that transfer, and that's first reading of what this ordinance does. And in relation to that, they've also agreed to pay up to the sum of $6 million, so that would come with the property as well.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-37?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made from Mr. Smith, second from Mr. Chestnut. Any discussion or questions from council?
So this motion authorizes the city manager to negotiate the terms of the acquisition. Is that correct?
Correct.
So they've offered terms of the acquisition, but we're authorizing you to negotiate the terms?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else from council? Okay. Do we have any discussion from the public related to the first reading of ordinance 2025-37? And since there are so many people here, if any of you want to speak on this subject, we will ask for a maximum of 3 people because we know you're all here for the same thing. Okay. There be. And please, for the record, state your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Alex Fogel, city resident on 4th Avenue North. I see that the county is going to pay $6 million for us to assume their ownership. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So it's no cost to the city. We're actually getting money from the county to take it over. Is that basically?
No, that's not.
That
that
part is-
easy.
That part is correct.
And that's why I'm confused, because we're not really seeing what the cost of the city is for this acquisition.
Well, we will be discussing that. There are 2 items on this.
Okay. But for
Agenda.
this one, there's no.
This is for the county to pay us for a portion of the upgrades to the stadium that need to be made, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian Tucker, put on us from Major League Baseball, and the county wants out of their partnership with the city. So they are willing to pay us their 30% of those upgrades to get out of any ownership from the stadium.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Comments related to this particular agenda item, please.
And I'm basically going to address you all, thanking you so much for your support, and I know there are issues to be discussed. I'm not going to talk about any numbers, so I'm just going to talk about the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, if that's okay. I've lived in Myrtle Beach for 15 years. I've worked for the Myrtle Beach Pelicans for 13 of those years. Actually, one of my objectives moving here was to work for the Pelicans. I moved here from Atlanta and had attended many games before moving here. I'm an usher. Over the years, I have spoken to countless people who have told me they actually plan their summer vacations looking at the Pelicans schedule. Attending a Pelicans game is part of what they do to make their summer memories for us. People from West Virginia, Ohio, Michigan, Canada, they all come here, and part of what they do and part of what they spend their dollars on is attending a game. My own family, they live in California, but they'll only visit me in the summertime if the Pelicans are in town. And some of my friends know that my grandson Charlie comes to every game when he's here. A family of 4 can attend a Pelicans game. They can buy something to eat for their family and maybe even buy some souvenirs, and it costs them less than maybe one ticket at any major league stadium. It is a good value. And there's nothing that really compares with the look on a child's face if they catch a ball, they happen to see a home run, or get a player to sign an autograph for them. And it happens at every single game. Besides being a good value, they are a huge asset to this community. I'm so glad that you have honored Mental Health Awareness Month. This Saturday, the Pelicans are also honoring mental health awareness. Team will play jerseys, which will be auctioned off, and we've done this for several years. We honor our military, our first responders, the Miracle League, autism awareness, deaf awareness. In fact, Major League Baseball was so impressed with what we did to raise deaf awareness, one of those game-worn jerseys now is in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And as I said, I'm a huge fan of baseball. I love working there. The Pelicans family, they have embraced us. Most of our employees are in the senior citizens category, and we love working there. They keep us engaged in the community. They keep us involved. And we vote. Therefore, I just want to thank you again so very much for supporting us, and I hope that, and I know that you all will do everything that you can do to keep the Myrtle Beach Pelicans in Myrtle Beach where they belong. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to please refrain from clapping, okay? Yes, sir. And please remember, sir, we're talking about the agenda item related to the county's interest, not the lease for the Pelicans.
Okay. Unfortunately.
And state your name
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
address, please.
Dean Osborne. I live in Little River. I am not affiliated at all with the Pelicans other than being a season ticket holder. I had a few places to choose to move here from. No, try that the other way around. I moved here. I had a few places to choose from. I was looking at Hilton Head, Charleston, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. I'm a lifelong Chicago Cubs fan. And because of that, being the affiliate of the Cubs, that's why I chose to live here and become a season ticket holder. I can go through a whole bunch of stuff, but Terry stole most of my thunder, thank you very much, talking about
going to the games and seeing the faces and seeing everything. I just want to do one thing. I brought a prop, and I just, if I may approach just right here. This is an apple pie. There's an American idiom as American as apple pie and baseball. Please keep baseball in Myrtle Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Blakely Roof. I serve as the president and CEO of United Way of Horry County. And I'm here this morning not representing just our organization, but speaking on behalf of a wide network of nonprofits across Horry County. Organizations working every day to meet the real needs and improve the quality of life for people who call this community home. To many, the Myrtle Beach Pelicans offer a fun night out, great baseball, family entertainment, but for those of us in the nonprofit sector, the Pelicans are a critical partner. Their support goes beyond the field. There are over 250 nonprofits in Horry County alone. You'd be hard-pressed to find one that hasn't directly benefited from a partnership with the Pelicans. Whether it's their awareness nights that shine light on serious issues like food insecurity, literacy, autism, or mental health, or their contributions to fundraising events and community campaigns, the Pelicans consistently use their platform to help others. This month, as we've noticed, is Mental Health Awareness Month, an issue that affects many. I've watched people stop and talk to our Breaking Barriers mental health counselors at the Strikeout Stigma event. Those conversations just don't raise awareness. They connect people to services that they may not have known existed, and that is a real impact. Their donations show up in silent auctions. Have you ever been to a silent auction and not seen a Pelicans gift basket? Absolutely not. I've worked at nonprofits and served on boards with a variety of Pelicans employees. They encourage their staff to volunteer and be part of the community. Ask any nonprofit how hard it is to find good, dedicated board members. During COVID-19, they were one of the first groups to call and offer their stadium for food distribution. And one of the most impactful moments I've witnessed in my 19 years here in this community was the Hurricane Florence Relief Concert held at the Pelican Stadium, raising over $120,000 for Hurricane Florence victims. I saw homes of Horry County residents that were gutted and rebuilt with these exact funds. These aren't small gestures. This is a community investment in action. The Pelicans Community Fund has given back over $3 million since 2013. Name another organization in this community that has given so much. Our community is always great to step up and rally together when we find ourselves in crisis, but the Myrtle Beach Pelicans don't just show up in crisis, they're always there. And here's the truth. If the Myrtle Beach Pelicans disappear, we don't just lose a baseball team. We lose one of the few organizations that consistently steps up, gives back, and uses its reach to lift others. For many of us, they're not just part of the nonprofit ecosystem, they are a cornerstone. On behalf of our team, our partners, and the thousands of people we collectively serve, I urge you to do everything in your power to negotiate to keep the Myrtle Beach Pelicans in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Blakely. All right, Council, we are going to vote on the first reading of Ordinance 2025-37, authorizing the city manager to negotiate the terms of the acquisition of Horry County's interest in the land and improvements constituting the Myrtle Beach Pelican Stadium and matters related thereto. We will vote by show of hands. All those in favor, please signify aye by raising your hand. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. First reading of Ordinance 2025-38.
First reading of Ordinance 2025-38, to approve the execution and delivery by the City of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, of an agreement of lease between the City of Myrtle Beach as landlord and Myrtle Beach Pelicans LP as tenant with respect to the Pelican Stadium.
This is the same, virtually the same lease that City Council voted on, I think, 2 weeks ago. The change occurred last week with the county's actions. This had to come back for first reading to remove Horry County as a landlord. It's the exact same lease, but the landlord, instead of being Horry County in the city of Myrtle Beach, is solely the city of Myrtle Beach as the landlord and Myrtle Beach Pelicans as the tenant. Everything else is identical. The rental rates of $750 a year for the first 10 years, $850 for years 11 through 20, $950 for years 21 through 30. The ticket fee is all the same.
All right, thank you. May I please have a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-38?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made from Mr. Smith, second from Mr. McClure. I'll open it up to council for any questions or discussion.
Yeah, just to clearly lay this out, kind of what the city manager said, we approved a lease where we would pay 70%, we own 70% of the stadium, we would pay 70% of the cost, we would receive 70% of the revenue, which would go back in the stadium. The county has decided they don't want anything to do with it, but now we will own the stadium 100%, bear 100% of the cost, but receive 100% of the revenue. Correct. Is that correct? Correct. And this is essentially the last chance to save the Pelicans.
Anyone else from council?
Yes, I think it's important for us to really understand impact, and I know we just voted for the city manager to negotiate the terms with the county, but with the county pulling out as a 30% partner, there's a big gap, financial gap. Now that they basically have said they're not willing to support the team, and that $6 million that they're looking to give us takes care of immediate PDL needs, but does not help us in the viability and support of that stadium. And it is my hope that we are able, I'm going to pass first reading today, but I think it's critical that we quickly identify opportunities to fill that gap.
Thank you.
I'd also like to point out that what City Council passed, there were two conditions that they wanted to lay on the city of Myrtle Beach. They offered those as solutions, and in my opinion, they were not solutions at all. When they talked about the multi-county business parks and that type of thing, those are all good economic drivers, but in order to put them together, it takes years to do. It takes a lot of analysis. It takes a lot of lawyers. And I'll give you one example that I posted last week. One good example of that type of business park is when they passed a similar ordinance to bring in 4,000 acres into the city of Myrtle Beach. And what that created was Coastal Grand Mall and the Grand Dunes PUD, Planned Unit Development. But when you go back and you look at the tax revenue generated, it took 15 to 20 years before there was any real positive tax income generated. Are they economic drivers? They are, but it's over the long term. So that was not a solution for any shortfall that the county thought that they might have. The second part has to do with the seascape and the various legal finagling that's been between the city and the county for years. And the bottom line is, the county wants some money for the airport. I think, I'm speaking for myself, not for all my council members, but I think, the city is more than willing to sit down and talk about that because the airport is an important thing to the city and to all of our residents, be they residents in this county or Georgetown County or wherever. But let's be clear. The county asked the FAA to investigate the potential sale, which the city has a right to do, of the seascape land. And in so doing, the FAA is still in that mode. There's no way the city can do anything. Our hands are tied until two things happen. The FAA makes a decision, or the county withdraws their request to the FAA. So the so-called solutions really weren't solutions at all. And I just wanted to make that clear to everyone.
All right, thank you. Anything else from council? Well, I'll go last. You see what color I'm wearing today? That's not by accident. I have stood with the Pelicans for many, many years and will continue to. I want everyone to understand what will be voting on today is first reading. We still have to get to second reading. The value that the Pelicans bring to this community is enormous. We heard Blakely Roof talk about that. She brought up some excellent points. And this is about quality of life for our community. We make investments as a government in things in our community that we do not get a return on that investment, such as parks, libraries, recreation centers, and other facilities. This is an investment in our community. It's an investment for our quality of life, for our residents, and for our visitors, but also for the 250 employees that the Pelicans employs. We talked about over 200 nonprofit organizations that the Pelicans supports. Community reinvestment at its finest. So I am in support of the Pelicans. I am in support of voting yes on this today. However, we need to make it clear, as Dr. Connor stated, that we are in a position where we are being left with a 30% deficit placed on us because Horry County is backing out of their partnership. We have to find a way, and I'm speaking to Chuck and Ryan at this moment, we have to find a way before second reading to fill in that deficit. That's not going to be an easy task, but I believe that when we are squeezed to do something and under pressure, that is when great things happen. So with that being said, I am the last one to speak today. We will open it up to the public. Again, we will ask for 3 people to speak on the Pelicans' behalf. You will each have 3 minutes, and it will be related to the lease agreement. There is a list, and we will go with the top 3 people, please. Madam Clerk.
Kristen Call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Kristen Call, General Manager for the Pelicans, and I'd like to start just by thanking each of you once again for putting us on the agenda in an effort to find a solution and a way to keep the Pelicans in this team and in our home, as well as for your participation throughout the entire process and continued efforts. The last time I stood before you, I shared how the ballpark, and you've heard, is more than just a facility. It's more than a building, that we are operators and proud stewards of this community asset. We've previously shared numbers and stats related to employment, payroll, the family fundraising program, tenure of our staff, the boards and committees that are served annually, community involvement and give back, the direct tax payments, spend with local businesses, the direct in-market spend and revenue that comes from the Chicago Cubs, the earned media, and the numerous non-Pelicans events that are hosted that have been hosted at the ballpark over the past 27 years. If the city goes forward as the sole landlord, we are committed to providing additional package of benefits as a way to say thank you to the city, to its residents, and to its employees for taking on that additional effort and being the sole landlord. As I've said before, we have a deep respect for the responsibility that you hold as council members to do what's best for this community. The Pelicans are of great importance to the community, and I hope that by passing today's reading, you take the next step in preserving the Pelicans at the beach for many, many years to come. On behalf of our organization, all of the individuals that make up our ballpark family, thank you again for giving us this opportunity today. Thank you to everyone who came out in support. Your presence is appreciated more than you know. The past 27 years have been great, and I'm confident that if given the opportunity, the next 30 will be even greater. We sincerely hope we have your support for that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Krista.
I'm going to butcher your last name here. Mike Grill?
Hi, as you know, I'm Mike Grail. I'm a season ticket holder there at Pelicans. I'm 100% in favor of it, and I just want to bring up a couple of important items. As many people have already said, what a good organization is to make people get good benefit out of it, and volunteers. Well, one group that I do belong to, and I think everybody up here knows it, I belong to the Myrtle Beach Citizens Police Alumni Association. And there's many of them sitting here in the back also, and they have given us an opportunity to work there for funds that are donated strictly to the organization, which we in turn support the Myrtle Beach Police Department. We work parades, we do everything, and we have to do fundraisers. And the Pelicans have been one heck of a supporter, and people working there, and all the time they put in, the money goes directly to the organization. That's one of many. The veterans are helped tremendously there at every game. They do backpack buddies, they do, I mean, there's just so much stuff that they donate to and help. And there's a lot of events. We've done marathons out of there. And I enjoy being there, and I meet people that have come in, as we said, one lady said earlier, the tourists come in there, and I sit there and I listen to stories, and I enjoy every bit of hearing people come. Wanted to make sure we got here to go to Pelicans games. Win or lose, the kids have a ball, and it's just, it's so much fun. Everybody enjoys it. It's a fun place to be. I've never seen any major altercations there whatsoever. Fire department's there, police are always available, but I don't think they've had a need for that at all. So I hope that we can do this. If I had the money, I'd put it up myself. I think they're very valuable to this community for many reasons, and the stadium is used for many other things. And I just hope we all can support it and go support it, because it all comes back to us and to the community a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, we will call for the vote. Again, we will do this by show of hands. We are voting on the first reading of ordinance 2025-38. All those in favor, please say aye by raising your hand.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And nobody cheered. You all listened. I do want to thank you all for being here. This room is packed. It's very rare that this room is filled with so many people.
For a good thing.
For a great thing. And as I said, this is first reading. We will have a special called meeting next Tuesday during our workshop for a second reading. Of course, that will be open to the public as well. So we are going to take a 5-minute break, because I'm sure you don't want to sit here for the rest of our agenda, and give you time to clear out. And again, thank you all for your support and for being here today. All right, the next item on our agenda is motion 2025-41, to reappoint 3 members to the Seniors Advisory Committee. There are currently 3 vacant seats. On file are the resumes of Brian Long, city resident, Leslie Kerr, city resident, Mary T. Kasherba, city resident, Sarah Trimble, non-resident, and Eileen Newman Donnelly, non-resident. All 3 new term expirations will be March 8th, 2028. May I please have a motion for appointment?
I'd like to make a motion for Brian Long, Leslie Kerr, and Mary Kasherba.
Thank you, Dr. Connor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made from Dr. Connor, second from Mr. Smith, to appoint Brian Long, city resident, Leslie Kerr, city resident, and Mary T. Kasherba, city resident. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Motion 2024-42.
Motion 2024-42 to reappoint 1 member to the Election Commission.
Chairman William Monkton's term has expired. He does wish for reappointment, and there are no other candidate resumes on file. His new term will expire on September 12th, 2030. Madam Clerk, I will ask, is that supposed to be motion 2025-24?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. That is correct. How'd that happen?
So motion 2025-42 to reappoint 1 member to the Election Commission. May I please have a motion?
Motion to reappoint Chairman William Monkton.
Second.
Motion made from Mr. Chestnut, second from Dr. Connor. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And in going back to the first item on our regular agenda, it is the first reading of ordinance 2025-36. We do have an executive session before that agenda item is voted on. So I will ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter related to health insurance, which does involve our budget. We will invite Fox Simons, Will Bryan, Brian Tucker, Josh Bruger, Michelle Schumpert, Marla Bell, Meredith Denary, and Amy New Schaefer. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. McClure, second from Dr. Connor. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
point order here.
Is there a motion to come out of executive session?
Second.
Motion from Mr. Louder, second from Mr. Chestnut. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Our next agenda item is the first reading of ordinance 2025-36.
First reading of ordinance 2025-36 to levy taxes and establish a municipal budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the first reading of the budget. We had the required public hearing. We've had a retreat back in March. We had another workshop earlier this month, I think. In detail, there's been no changes since the retreat, or excuse me, the workshop earlier this month. We did, like I said, the public hearing. If there's, Michelle's here to answer any more detailed questions that you may have.
Okay, I'll open it up to council for questions. First, I'm sorry, let's get a motion on the table. Is there a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-36?
So moved.
Motion from Mr. McClure, second from Mr. Chestnut. Any discussion or questions from council?
Michelle, can you give us the highlights?
Again,
Sure, we have got a budget balance with no tax increase this year.
No tax increase.
No tax increase this year. We also have a general fund that will end with a fund balance that's well within our required percentage. The unassigned fund balance would be around $44 million and 29.9% of expenditures, but the unassigned would be 23.2% of expenditures. Our goal for fund balance is to be between 10 and 15%, well, 15 and 20%, in order to ensure that we have fiscal stability in the event of an economic downturn or any kind of hurricane or anything. So we will be ending the year with a good, stable fund balance, not just in the general fund, but in all funds. With the unassigned, it would be 23.2, and that's the one we look at.
And there is no tax increase, right?
And no tax increase.
Okay.
The increases that we do have are going to be for water and sewer, that's 9%. I know in the news, we've talked a lot about that 48-inch water main, the pump station upgrades, and then also the increases by Grandstrand Water and Sewer. So we have a number of costs that we have to make sure that we cover. Stormwater, you'll hear about that in a resolution at second reading, and that'll be the 22% increase. There's a 3.5% increase for solid waste. Again, that's just to cover our cost. And then with construction services, we have restructured the fee for construction services. It will go up slightly for those on the higher end, mainly from $500,001 up to actually rebalance those fees. The planning fees, planning and zoning, have been restructured. For the most part, what's going to happen with planning and zoning fees is they will be simplified, where we might have a fee plus some other amount that's been simplified. Those are really the highlights. We have no service level changes this year. The main goal and the initiative, the priorities for this budget have been public safety, community and economic development, infrastructure, communications, quality of life. And, you know, just to talk a little bit about tourism, tourism fees and transfers fund 10.1% of our budget overall. But in the general fund, tourism revenues offset 30% of the cost of service that we provide. I think it's always important to point that out because, yes, we are a tourism community, but we use those tourism dollars to lessen the burden on our taxpayers. The next step when it comes to budget processing will be a few companion resolutions that we always pass at second reading. We're going to bring you the capital projects resolution. With that, you will adopt the 5-year plan. Now, in that 5-year plan, you only appropriate the first year. The other is simply to show that your commitment to the projects in the 4 years of the plan, plus to show our creditors and other folks who are looking at us that we are forward-thinking, we do have a plan, and that we are working towards certain goals here within the city. So it makes us look good to our credit agencies and everyone else looking at us. The other's the stormwater fee ordinance, where we'll put that increase or resolution. The way that the stormwater fee ordinance was written, we have to adopt the stormwater fee increase by resolution. And then the final companion will be the adoption of the assessment roll for the downtown mid. That'll be the normal 10 mills. We had Municap go through, look at all of the assessed values to determine what we'd need. So that'll be the 10 mil assessment in that downtown area.
Michelle, how much debt do we pay down each year?
Well, as a matter of fact,
Approximately.
this year we've already paid down 13 million so far. We typically pay down anywhere between 13 to 16 million in principal alone in that debt. That doesn't count the interest we pay, but that's just the principal or the corpus of that debt that we pay down.
Okay. And can you talk, please, I think it's important for the public to understand, you talked about the increase in the public safety budget. Can we talk about what those increases are for?
The main increases in all of our budget for the city this year really have just been a 5% increase for our employees, the cost of living, market increase, whatever you'll call it. And then we have continued in that the take-home car replacement program. There's some equipment in there, but other than that, it's really just been inflationary and operational costs for both the police department and the fire department. And as I said, we did no service level changes this year. We've pretty much held the line on the budget. So while we continue to fund them in the general fund, they're over 57% of the total cost we pay in the general fund.
All right, thank you.
Michelle, do we have, you talked about as we pay down debt, you talked about principal. Now we've got our interest. Do we track or do we have a table that tells us how much interest we've paid over time or on an annual basis, that type of thing?
Really what we would have with that is more proactive or looking forward. Because when you keep a debt schedule, the prior year you paid, you drop off and you're only looking forward. It would take a bit to recreate something that went backwards, but we can look at it, looking going forward.
Okay. Got it.
Any other discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Do we have any non-agenda items from the public?
No, Your Honor.
Any communications from council or staff? Quiet group this afternoon.
I would just like to keep Councilwoman Hatley and her family in our prayers with the passing of her mother.
Thank you. And I know not many people are still here, but I just want to again thank all of our public safety personnel, our public works, the outside agencies, literally every city employee who worked so hard over the last 5+ days, including our volunteers. What a great job you all did. And just want to thank you for the hard work and dedication that you showed this city. And even though it was a very busy weekend, we have had a multitude of great military appreciation events with a great turnout. So thank you for all of that. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Louder, second from, I think I heard Dr. Connor.
From everybody.
Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Meeting is adjourned.